Today, we will talk about access rights to the CLS system. That is about access on roles and how to set them up. At the enterprise, design, planning, budgeting, purchasing, etc. are done by different employees of departments in different programs. In CLS, these same employees do their work in one program. Someone fills their database with information. Someone then uses this information for construction management, to monitor the progress of work, manage the budget, generate reports. In CLS, access is configured for each employee individually, within the role assigned to him. A role is a set of privileges granted to an employee who performs a certain list of works, actions in the system, views and downloads information on some tabs, uploads and edits information on others. Several employees can work under one role, as well as one employee can be granted access to one or more roles. Role formation algorithm. At the first stage, a global list of works is determined. These are the further roles. Creation of the project structure. To fill the database, it is necessary to create a project structure. This is a separate type of work when we study information in documents and create a structure, dividing it into objects, titles, sections. Within the sections, we create construction blocks and tasks for contractors. We fill tasks with types of work, unit of measurement, and indicate their main resource. This is a separate type of work that is done by individual employees. Maintaining an electronic archive. It is also necessary to maintain an electronic archive of project documentation, design, estimate, archive of BIM models, and many other documents. To perform these works, individual employees are also allocated to maintain an electronic archive. Managing contractors and contracts is carried out by the contract department. They also upload additional agreements. Planning of construction and installation works and supply of materials is carried out by the planning department. Budgeting. It is also possible to generate a preliminary budget from the directory of the consolidated unit prices or from the previous projects. We can form a budget according to the work documentation when there are estimates. We can form a budget already under contracts with contractors when there are real contractual estimates or unit prices. We load the rates into the system, associate them with the task, and then work with them. It is a separate type of work that employees perform. The same goes for entering operational data for installation, budgeting, control, and administration. The supervisor gets a separate role that can view all the data in the project and generate reports. We understand that a separate type of work in a project is a separate role, so you can add as many roles as you need. The next step is to define responsible employees for each role, although this can be done later. Further, it is necessary to work out in detail what actions the employee will perform in the system in order to perform his work within his role. For example, to create a project structure, you should form the structure of the project at all levels. It includes model conversion, maintain a directory of typical construction blocks and tasks, view working documentation for the entire project, upload models to the electronic archive, For maintaining an electronic archive, you should upload documents to the system, create approval routes for documents, enter the dates of transfer of documents to the contractor co-headed by the customer, keep track of revisions and changes, and so on. You should do the same for managing contractors and contracts planning and budgeting. Thus, we should describe in detail the actions for each role. Next, you should determine on which tabs the employee will only look at the necessary information and what tools he needs to record and edit data. You need to go through the tabs of the system and understand what to leave for this employee to work. The rest of the tools for it will be hidden. Let's look at this in the CLS program. Let's go to the project and consider what tabs are needed for an employee with a contractor role. What information does the contractor need for construction and installation work? It is necessary to see the work documentation as well as archives of estimate documentation and models. To do this, go to the Project tab, Electronic Archive, PD, ED, or BIM models. Let's choose PD. Here, a contractor can choose section, download or view documentation. Also, he can see and form remarks on it. In this case, the documents are open only for viewing and comments for viewing and editing. Contractor needs to see the planning, scope of work and deadlines for his assignment. He can do it by going to Site Office, Planning, and choose Necessary Schedule. Here he can open the structure and see his tasks, planned volumes and duration. He can open detailed information where tab Works, Model specification, intensity will be available to him. For the supervisor of the contractor, possible to open rates. Where will the contractor enter data on the actual work performed? Here, on the Works tab, he will be able to enter the data of the operational fact. Here, actual. Or through the models on the Planning tab. Now the specification will be opened here. We can choose necessary elements, set dates and volume of installation. You can also enter installation data through the tab Project, Visualization, Models, and here you should choose the section. Here you choose required model, choose specification mode tab, ungroup, select necessary elements and set the data in the same way. Here you can set data and volumes. To assign an actual installation date, the contractor needs to have access for editing, but schedule should be open only for viewing. He can't edit anything here. The contractor also creates an archive of as-built documentation for his work. He does this on the Site Office tab, as-built documentation archive. These tabs should be opened for editing. It is also important for the contractor to see the remarks of the construction control with instructions. He can do it on Construction Site tab, Construction Control, Register of Violation, Register of Violations. These tabs are read-only. Editing is prohibited here. Only after we have decided which tools one or another role will work with, we can proceed to configure the system. Next, we go as an administrator to the Administrator tab on the Start page. On the tab Personal Department, Users, through the context menu, we choose Create and enter the full name and data of the employees. For example, Olena Bushko. You should have a separate document with the list of roles. Here we can see all the information about Olena. Let's fill the form with this information: phone number and email. Forward, and here we should assign a password. User passwords are saved additionally in another place and carefully stored. Let's choose very simple password: 111. It is done for our convenience. Next, on the tab Personal Department, Organizational Structure, we create an element of the organizational structure using context menu, Create, or pressing the button Create. Here we should rename the new structure, and in the lower window on the screen, we associate employees with elements of the organizational structure. We highlight the line in the structure, and in the window below we call the context menu, Link to, User, and here we choose Olena. So we have created a user connection with the organizational structure. Next, you need to bind the user to the project. This is done in order to provide an access to the project for this user, as well as allow him to see only projects with which he is associated. For this, we go to the Start page. On the Start page, administrator goes to the project, Project Settings, Access tab, call Context menu, Link to, and here you can choose organization structure element or individual users. Let's add organizational structure element which was created previously. Here we press Archiving, OK. The element of archiving with the entire list of users that it includes was added. Now I will show you how to set up access for contractors so that each contractor sees only his own scope of work and documents assigned to him. Let's go to the Start page, Contractors directory. Choose with the right button of mouse Contractors, for example, New Format, and press Open. Go to the Access tab, Link to. Here we choose User, New Format, Company. We set up access for contractors so that each contractor sees only his scope of work and documents assigned to him. Also, you can set up access for contractors in the project itself. For this, we go to the Project, Directories, Contractors, let's choose your house, Access, Context menu, Link to, and here we choose User, your house company. We should do this with all contractors. In this way, the contractor's employees will be associated with the tasks to which the original contractor will be assigned. Next, we need to create a list of roles and link employees to the role. To add a new role, we should go to the Start screen, select Administration on the Start page, and go to the Roles tab. In the upper part of the window, call the Context menu, select Add. In the new line, New Item, let's type the name of the new role. To assign roles to employee, select the role which you want to assign, and in the lower part of the window, through the context menu, we choose Add. Here we choose Olena Bushko. Employee is bind to the role. Now let's configure the tabs for this role. On the Start page, go to Administration and choose Configuration tab. Now the system uses the CHEM project settings. Let's select this line, and here we can see the tree of tabs and program tools that are displayed in the field at the top right. In the lower field, there is a list of created roles. When we stand on the line in the tree, for example, Project Tool, the list of roles activates. Archiving role that was created previously is in the bottom of the list. If the checkbox with Project Tools is unchecked, then it will be blocked for everyone. All the tools will be blocked, and the tools will not be displayed at all in the interface. I don't recommend you to uncheck tools. For each role, we should indicate what rights will have the specialists read or write. Clicking on Read, you can view download files, but editing is prohibited. Clicking on Read and Write, you can view, upload, download files, edit and delete them. Providing access to a user will start at the top level. To open access to the lower elements of the tool tree, set access for the upper ones. In this case, the top element can be read-only and the bottom one read and write. So we should open project tools for reading. In order to understand what functions to provide employee with the role of archiving, let's open the necessary file. We see that he has ability to view and edit the PD, ED, BIM tabs, upload, delete files, notes, indicate contractors, link, checklists, related objects, and approval routes. To configure these features, let's go to Project Tools and set read. That is done. Next, we should open it and find project. Here we should provide an access to read also. Next, we should find in the project, we should find electronic archive and provide reading as well as writing. This is done since the employee will both view and download files. Next, let's choose Estimate Documentation. Here we should choose Read and Write. Project Documentation, also Read and Write access. CLS Archive, Read and Write. BIM Models, Read and Write. In Estimated Documentation, the employee can work with estimates. Read and write, and do the same with ED files, ED remarks, checklists, contractors, PD related objects, estimate models. That's it. Next, we can see that he has ability to view the model. We can view project on the project tab. It is already opened for reading. Visualization and project structure should be opened for reading as well. For visualization, we should choose models for reading. Also, the employee with archiving role has the ability to view the project structure and planning scheme. For providing this access, we should open Site Office. We should open Site Office for reading and Schedules also for reading. Okay, we have finished the setting of the archiving role, and now we need to check if the setting is done correctly. Until today, we logged in as administrator. It is also a role. It has access to all tools for viewing and editing, for reading and writing. To change the user without closing program, you can log in with a different name. For this, you should go to the start page and press login with a different name. Choose employee, enter password That was 111 and press OK. We did not set up access to directories, so the directories section is closed. Let's enter the project. Here we can see that Tools Project and Site Office are available. On Project Tool, Electronic Archive is available. On this tab, Project Documentation, Estimate Documentation, BIM Models, Flashes, and Annotations are available. In the project structure, we can choose sections and upload files. The same you can do on ED tab. Upload files and upload models. On Visualization tab, we can view models and contractors assigned to the task. On Site Office tool, we can see Planning tab. Here we can choose the necessary schedule, view tasks and contractors assigned to this work. We cannot delete anything here. Access for deleting is closed.